Chilling tales for dark nights.
Want to make sure you never miss a Chilling Tales for Dark Nights video again? Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell to turn on notifications.
He hoped the tape recorder would still work. It was one of those small portable ones often used in schools or libraries. Teddy didn't even realize the irony of his action. Angie was, in fact, the one who had brought it for him. He wiped the hair and blood off the corner and released a sigh of frustration.
Mother will probably ground me from the television,
he considered, looking to the mess he had made.
Damn her! Damn them all! Why did she have to hurt Peg? Why?
Balefully, he kicked the corpse beside him. Her glazed eyes stared back at him with empty fascination.
You bitch. You killed Peg.
His sister's dead look gave no response. He wondered why. Her face looked so shadowed. He lifted her head up by her clotted hair and saw that it was dried blood on her cheek that created the mock shadow. He saw, too, that the dent in her skull had stopped gushing. The coagulated blood had formed a gelatinous plug. Mother would be home soon. They would have to dig a grave. Teddy got up and walked to his bedroom where Peg's plastic body lay deflated. Atop her bloodless chest was a kitchen knife, and she stared at the ceiling with her permanent expression, mouth in the shape of an O. She looked as if she would scream. He picked up the doll's head and looked tearfully at the flat terrain of her airless, life-sized figure. Cradling her head, he began to cry. Each tear held 1,000 wishes to bring her back. He was glad Angie was dead. She had deserved every last blow. As Teddy stroked Peg's artificial hair, he noticed the stench coming from his sister who lay several feet away. He knew it was urine. He had heard her bladder release when he struck the final deadly blow. He had hit her once more for good measure. She killed Peg. He had every right. Carefully, he let Peg's head rest on the carpet. Bending down, he kissed her cheek and wiped some sticky stuff from her rubber lip. Mom had told him before not to touch Peg or to make the nasty in her mouth, but he couldn't help it. He loved her too much just to leave her be. If Mom found out he had done the nasty, then, well, she would take Peg away. Like before, he would have to find her too. As Teddy went back to Angie's body, he stopped for a moment to marvel at her nudity. He had always watched her dress from the closet, but he'd never seen her thing up close. He was fascinated by the dark tuft of hair between her legs. Peg didn't have that. Cautiously, he touched her thigh and jerked away as if her flesh was hot. It wasn't, though. In fact, she was starting to get cold. It had been 4 hours.
I hate you,
he informed her cadaverous eyes. Again, he touched her thigh, but this time he didn't pull away. Gently, he ran his fingertips up her hip and toward her crotch. With the other hand, he pulled her muscled legs apart. Between them was a puddle of urine the size of a pancake. He gave her genitals a curious poke. She was much softer than Peg. Wait, although her body was cold and pallid, she was warm inside. He was getting excited by her macabre sexual divinity. He had to stop. Mother would be upset if he was doing the nasty. She hated the nasty. Dad had found that out the hard way. All she liked was sewing and watching Family Feud. She loved that Richard Dawson guy. But Angie was so yielding, so doughy. Peg's skin was hard and waxy inside. He'd had her for 10 years. He'd ordered her from a dirty magazine when he was 18. Angie was only 5 then, and now she had matured into a beautiful young woman. He really didn't hate her that much, but she shouldn't have killed Peg. He was only watching her shower. It was nothing new. But she would have told Mother, and Mother couldn't stand for that kind of filth in her house. That's why he had to hide Peg in the first place. Mother was so old-fashioned he had to hide a lot from Mother. Going to the garage, he fetched a spade and began digging in the garden. He had to finish before she got home. The soil was tender. It took half an hour to make the grave. Time was precious, so he went in and cleaned up. He grabbed a towel and went to Angie's room. Grabbing both her arms, he pulled her back a few feet. The puddle had soaked into the carpet, leaving a dark stain. He carefully sopped it up and threw the towel in the closet. As he dragged her through the living room, he considered an idea. It was the best idea he'd ever had. If Mother had liked the nasty, she would have been proud of this idea. He dropped Angie's arms and went back to his room. It pained him to look at Peg's wasted body. The gash in her chest seemed bigger and painful. But she was old, he thought. Maybe it was best she had died. Teddy tossed the knife and carried the rubber doll's limp torso through the kitchen into the backyard. "I'm sorry, Peg," he told her painted face. He wouldn't bury her just yet. First, he wanted to try out his idea. If it worked, then he would cover her up. It was almost time. He would have to hurry. Back in his sister's room, he took off his jeans and knelt beside the corpse. The smell of death was pungent and sickening, but life was too frightening for him to handle. He was more of a watcher, but it was too late for watching, and she would be perfect. He could hide her, just like Peg. As Teddy mounted his sister in a fumbling, incestuous act of necrophilia, Mother's car pulled into the cracked driveway. Through the grimy windshield, she saw the rotting bags of trash piled among the weeds near the porch. That damnable Teddy, just like his father. Nearly 4 strokes within her, Teddy finished shamefully. He stayed inside her for a few moments. He liked the slimy grip on his flesh. He was embarrassed, but liked the nasty stuff so much. Why couldn't Mother understand his needs?
Teddy, didn't I tell you to take out the trash?
She hollered as the front door opened, slamming into the wall. She grimaced as a rat scuttled from somewhere to anywhere. A catalog of punishments befuddled her mind as she crossed the living room. Teddy froze. How could he explain this to Mother? He would have to hide Angie if Mother saw what...
Teddy!
As Mother hobbled into the hall, he looked up from his disgraceful position. She stood above him, ancient and leviathan from his angle. Her cane loomed over him like a tree trunk. Teddy's frozen panic melted and he leapt up and hurriedly cupped his naughty parts, hiding them from Mother.
Teddy, why didn't you take out the garbage?
Huh? He was confused by her displaced question, her banal motherliness.
Oh, never mind.
She poked her cane at Angie with simple curiosity.
Put on your drawers.
Mother, it wasn't my fault. She killed... He quickly shut his mouth. Mother couldn't know about Peg. She hated Peg.
She's dead, huh?
Mother, I didn't mean to kill her. That was a lie.
You were watching her again, Mother chided.
No, Mother. I never ever watched her. I promise I didn't.
You did. She tells me.
No, Mother.
That bitch,
she had told. He wished he could kill her again. She suffered too little.
I told you not to do the nasty, and now I catch you doing it on your sister. What can I do with such a disrespectful boy?
Her rhetoric frightened him. What if she took away the television? What if she made him take those pills again? What did she call them? Saltpeter? He could fix that, though. Oh, he was good at hiding them under his tongue and then throwing them out his window. Although Teddy was taller than Mother, she overwhelmed him with her presence. She stepped over Angie and raised her cane to his head, varicose in her elegance.
Bad boys have to be punished. That's how we keep a family together.
Sharply, and with surprising force, she bludgeoned his head repeatedly until he collapsed, limp and denigrated on the carpet. When Teddy awoke, he winced at the tugging pain at his eyelids. They wouldn't open no matter how hard he strained. Atop his naked groin, he felt the cold security of Peg, and beneath him, the gritty soil. Damn Mother and her sewing. He touched his eyelids and knew he would find tiny, knotted stitches binding his vision.
Teddy,
she called from above.
you've been a bad boy. You won't be looking at Angie anymore, though. I've seen to that. Just like your father you are. I had to teach him a lesson, too.
He heard an earthly scrape from above and pleaded for forgiveness.
Mother, please, I didn't mean to look. I'm sorry, please, Mother, I'm sorry.
A scoop of dirt landed on his face, covering his nose and mouth. His arms were squeezed too tightly into the grave to protest.
Got to keep the family together.
Mother continued to fill in the grave as Teddy struggled to free himself. He wanted to spit, but his mouthful of dirt prohibited any such action. Above, Mother babbled about discipline, and Teddy's punishment led to suffocation, as his eyes seeped tears of blood. Where do I start with this? He won't tell me. So, I'll start at the beginning. It's probably as good a place as any. I'm a bibliophile. I love books. I love reading, and I love collecting books. Or at least I did. It's changed now, of course. I joined a group, a local book club, in the hope of meeting new people. I'd just come out of a shitty relationship and I was low, feeling pretty hollowed out. Most of my friends were her friends, and when we split, they mostly sided with her. So, I was single and friendless. Thought maybe I'd start over, make a new circle. I saw on Reddit some life hack about local interest groups as a way of finding like-minded fellows. So, naturally, I thought, what about a book club? And it was a good club. But it's changed lately. It's far more serious now. It's not so much fun as it was to start with. A lady called Tara ran the book club. She was single and pretty, but also pretty strange. Hippie guru. I decided early on that she and I were not going to socialize outside the club. The club met once a week here in her cottage, all low beams and exposed stonework and log fires. The first couple of meets were okay. Fun. Like I said, the people were quite nice, really. Each session, we took it in turns to bring a book we intended to read. Everyone else had to source the same book and read it ready for the next meet. We actually did that, too. This wasn't one of those book clubs where everyone used the book thing as an excuse to meet and chew the fat. I liked the fact that we read the books and then talked about them. I liked the fact that they were all proper bibliophiles. Like me. I liked that. But I don't like it now. It was a happier time. It's so dark now. It's not at all like it was. Yes, I'm typing. It was my turn to choose a book, so I went for a walk and popped into a flea market bookstore, a place I'd never been before. It was musty, just like I like it. Downstairs was local history, upstairs fiction, hobbies, children's literature. The staircase between floors was open plan and turned a corner halfway. Here was a half landing and a bookcase marked Esoterica. I have a look. Weird books about mysteries, magic, and miracles. I pick up an Eric von Daniken, Ancient Aliens. I decide to make this the book club's next read. Before leaving, my eyes fall on something poking out from under the bookcase. I pull out a crusty old tome, leather-bound and cracked, and I love this kind of thing. So, I peel it open to find I'm reading a book of black magic. I buy the books, 50 cents each, dog-eared and old, and that's the way I like it. The next book club session is next evening. I take out the Von Daniken. This is our next read. I get some groans. The old tome is in my bag and Steve spots it. What's that? I share the tome around and everyone has a look. It raises some eyebrows, especially when Steve turns to the back and unfolds a Ouija board. I hadn't noticed it before. It's printed on the back cover, which is bifold. What's this? Steve asks. He shows me and the others. It's a poem written around the edge. Dost thou seek the mummer man, larking in the gimcrack land? What a gawk, that son of Pan. Let's haul him forth, let's drag him down. Let's speak together, a timorous clan, calling forth the mummer man. Let's say together that bacchanal, hoy, hoy, 2, 3, round and round, all fingers now upon the planchette. Speak again with voices dulcet, mummer man. We call you lad. Come play with us and make us glad. The group debates, play with the board and intone the chant, or not. I wasn't fussed, but Tara wouldn't. She was frightened, but the others are skeptics. Don't believe the mumbo-jumbo. So we give it a go with a grin and a laugh, Steve and me and anyone who wants to join in. We put fingers on the planchette and recite the chant. When we reach the last word, the planchette doesn't move and nothing happens. I get bored and put the book away, and we get on with the rest of the evening. Tara is tense, and I ask her what her problem is. There's nothing at the Ouija board. I tell her it's nonsense, but she's trembling. I laugh. I tell her I'd go put the book in my car if it makes her feel better. She wouldn't answer. It's annoying. It's so annoying. And I said, that's annoying. Hippie guru. It's a tiresome thing. We use her house, but she's a useless hippie. I can see him, she cries out. Who? The mummer man? She said. Tara's bullshit act, I call it. Yeah, okay. Someone clears the air with a smirk. Shall we get back to the books? But Tara's not letting go. A quivering finger toward the door. He's coming. Oh, for fuck's sake. I have to concur. Horror movie cliches to embellish the Tara drama. Attention-seeking, always the same. I take out my phone, camera on. What are you doing? Asks Steve. I'm getting a photo of the mummer man. What else? And then everything changes. Clickety-click. Everything changes, lickety-split. Imagine that you were living a life when one day you find a door to another world, but that world is reality, and yours is a sham. Your life is delusion in rules and truths written for by a liar whom you admire, like watching your killer slide the knife across your belly, dipping the tip into the button, pushing, so that everything sinks, like a piece of elastic to show the curve of space. See how the gravity sinks. See how the blood bubbles up. None of it is real. Only the pain is true. This is how I felt. You could buy my feeling at the bookstore counter, 50 cents to you. I don't know what he is, but he's here now, where Tara said he would be. The hallway, dashing into the room, small, shapeless, wrapped in brown, a wild mane, tiny feet flapping. His mouth is filled with sharp little teeth, and a tongue like a swollen slug. He screams like a mooncalf. His eyes bulge and roll as they land on us in turn. He claims us by name and wants his fun. We scream too, clamber up the back of our chairs like chimpanzees, curse and trip in our haste to get the fuck away. He tears through the room and then goes through the other door. We can hear slapping as he runs. His screaming fades to a faraway mumble. I had my photo. Would you like to see it? Dost thou seek? Describe the sounds I made? A scream, like a pig. If you stuck it with a knife, sliced it sideways and bled it in a bucket. He's over me now. He's making me right. Sometimes in my head, like a smell. I'd like to sleep, but he won't let me. He wants me to write, and then maybe he'll send me into a nightmare where we can spend some time alone. It's been a while since he first appeared in the night, little goblin mummer man screaming his delight. We all ran for the door. Some were giggling, all part of a wonderful hoax. A silly mask of funny man playing the part by me and Steve, probably. They hadn't seen the door to reality was open. The lie revealed. Tara was first, skinny legs running. She knew the truth. She threw the door open, but no street or night. Only her bedroom. We were upstairs. Nobody remembered going upstairs. We wanted out, not up. We charged downstairs. They were pale with that sick feeling. What the fuck are you two up to? Jim to me and Steve. I grab the front door and throw it open. Let me out into the night. Out. Oh, such sweet delight. But no. Tara stares back. I'm in her bedroom. The others behind her staring at me. What the fuck? Jim scowls. Eyes so wide I can see the fleshy red. There's mumbling, and I turn around. Dost thou seek the mummer man, lurking in the gimcrack land? What a gawk, that son of Pan. Let's haul him forth. Let's drag him down. I'm in the living room at Tara's house. Writing, it's very dark and cold. I don't remember how I got here. I suppose the mummer man delivered me. There is no out. Only in. Out was fake, never was. Only this. Only now, the dark, the cold, his mumbling sound. There's Tara in the corner, rocking like a bobbin. He said that she looked like wood and pushed it down her throat. She has to look up now, or she'll choke on her neck. Oh, he made her hurt with those hooks. She gargles like she's drowning in pig fat, but he won't stop. It's been days, I think. I'm hungry, but what is food? All I know is typing so you can read. Read it out loud if you like, if it might make you feel. Now we're downstairs, walking with our chins down, a line of naughty children. He wanted the air to be cold so that our eyeballs would freeze. He'd pop them out, slip them in a cup, and crack them like eggs with a silver spoon. Then he'd ask us one by one if we'd be so kind as to bite off our fingers and serve them on a plate. Tasty soldiers to dip in the goo. It's only a bit of blood, so please don't cry. You're spoiling dinner for everyone else. He'd run in circles. Hallway, living room, dining room, kitchen, 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 screaming and screaming, eyeing us to check that we're good. Jim stopped speaking when the mummer man kissed him. His head is a cave. The edges quiver. He's gone larking in the Gimcrack land where something bad will do bad things to him until there are no tears left. Can I go home? I ask. I sound pathetic. Like I did when I was little and Mommy didn't like my muddy trousers. I want Mom. Oh, just shut the fuck up. Steve growls from the darkness. Steve is an animal now. From Never Never Land. Naked and squatting as a fawn, pulling bits off. Left leg first. He has to twist the long bone, and I hear his knee pop like a cap. Once upon a time in nursery rhyme, the mummer man mangled Father Time. Steve is saying a pretty song. There's a lot of blood on the floor, and he's sitting in it. The mummer man watches me with his visible eye while he sucks it up through a straw. Oh, that's dirty, I say. Mom wouldn't like a mess. Oh, it's okay. Steve shakes his leg to empty the blood. He's cleaning it up, that bacchanal. Get back to writing or you'll be next. Okay, I'm doing it. Maybe if I do, then I can go home. Or maybe not. Well, that about wraps it up. I don't know what else to write. The spell is done. And now I have to type the final score. Mummerman. We call you lad. Come play with us. And make us glad. I'm to take his picture. One last time. Click and flash in the dark, the nursery rhyme. I see him in the flash. It makes me cry and shuffle until there's a wall at my back and nowhere left to go. He wants you to see. He likes you to watch. Would you like to? I ask him to make it dark because I don't like to see him. And I'm his favorite, so he grants me a wish. He likes me. I brought him from reality into the sham. That's why he left me for last. His fingers will feel strange in my hair as they tug. Blood will go in my eyes when the clumps come out, and then it will be even darker. When my eyes fall out, I won't be able to see anymore anyway, and that will be okay. He says I won't want to see what comes after that. A pinch, a tug, you may feel a little prick. He wants to do something with my jawbone. He's making a sculpture, he says. And he needs it for the coup de grace. I'm to feel it when it's finished. He let me keep my fingers for typing and feeling. He doesn't like me screaming, so I'll have to hook my mouth at either side. One finger here, one finger there, tongue stuck out, and pull as hard as I can. Yes, it will hurt, but I'm to think of Mother, and she'd want me to be brave. Anyway, I won't be allowed to stop. Not until I've peeled it apart, like an orange. I think I have to go now. No more typing. Ugh. The book club has changed lately. It's so terribly serious now. And not at all fun.